And this one, the ferry boat at the Kyle of Loch Alsh. So long before the Skye Bridge was ever built, and even long before there were big, heavy ferries crossing crossing the water over the sea to Skye, we have the ferry boat with this cart, this in it, and on top of sitting at this really precarious angle. We have a woman sitting in the boat, looks like she could be holding a baby, because there's a little boy sitting down tucked here. And you feel, well, okay, is this like their house? Is this like their possessions? Is this like sort of travelers? You know, you're not going to be making this journey across the water every week to go and get your shopping. You know, could well be moving. And is this them about, they've got that feeling of about to set off rather than disembarking, because I think she's sort of sitting there ready to go. So there's an anticipation. But the precarious angle of that cart, it just scares the life out of me. I mean, it's lashed on. They've obviously had a lot of fun trying to get it on there. Is that possibly the horse? Is that a horse's tail hanging down there? Might be. It's kind of a slightly difficult to tell, but there's something coming down there.
Keep that horse still.
Yeah. And then there's a sail, you know, and a sail and oars. And this guy, you know, wonderful beard and his fob watch chain and just sort of catching the light in here, and kind of like coming up with, you know, that's my job done. It's in God's hands now. Do you know anything more about this, the background of this image?
No, not specifically. Although you have to think that the reason that it's been made, the reason that George Washington Wilson made it was to illustrate the sort of ingenuity behind this. You know, this kind of transaction is the result of centuries, if not millennia, of seafaring knowledge, essentially that's been passed down and was is practiced every day. You know, whether it was a sort of matter-of-fact moment, well, or something more extraordinary, who knows? But you know, I have a feeling that it wasn't terribly unusual to have to accommodate this sort of transport in the days before mechanized, before steam transport.
Yeah. Something I was slightly curious about. I noticed in the background, the hill, there's this shadow comes down here, which looks like a kind of slight hill in the foreground, except that it then overlaps the shore in front. Doesn't quite make sense to me. It's almost like a kind of double exposure or reflection in a bit of glass or something.
I think what that likely is a chemical anomaly, either in the glass plate negative or the paper.
Right.
Yeah. Because there isn't, you know, if you look across from Kyle House to Skye, there's not even though that sort of looks like the outline of a hill, there's not a hill there. And just sort of rises from the sea toward the snowy areas up there. So I think it's a chemical anomaly.
Again, I mean, beautiful composition with this, you know, even to the point whereby the oar on here is sort of pointing over to what looks like a built-up area on the other side, you know, like this is the direction we're going in, as the, you know, yeah, it's a very well thought out photo, this.